guys, this was a fact on Ghana SM TV. Do like, share, and subscribe. Guys, Okudzeto Ablakwa is in the news. The people of Ghana are dragging the hell out of him. And Reverend Fojo in particular is saying that Mr. Principal, Mr. Protector of Public Purse, resign, oh, resign, resign, oh, resign. Guys, this is the breaking news. President John Mahama traveled to Japan and Singapore with a chartered private jets or flights. Guys, this is the breaking news. President John Mahama, a few weeks ago, declared 3-day mourning period for the people of Ghana. And just last Friday, a state funeral was organized for the 6 departed people who died among the 8. Mind you, the 2 were buried earlier on Sunday. So President John Mahama, after the state funeral, resumed work by visiting Japan and Singapore. Why is Okudzeto Ablakwa asked to resign? Watch this video and you appreciate
and do the same thing. NDC banana nipa would do any mono coffee fasa private jet now you resign. I'll resign because what may resign? What may resign? Why should I stay there? May resign because the mayor is on principle and yet personal and yet say they are made time President Akufo-Addo and as I mean President Akufo-Addo. It's the principle. It's about protecting the public purse. It's about education minister na oda olam kwise mo abe resign. Oh, may resign. I mean, my resigning free appointments committee of parliament. And the appointment committee no say any allowance more kwa na mo jeje and I bibi wo baby a minimum. Appointments committee we say committee.
But the reality is that if that is what the presidency wants, then it means that we need to have a policy or make that conscious decision, whether it's you, the parliamentarians, or the political elite, or as a country, that we need a presidential jet, a new presidential jet. What do you say?
It is clear to me that the charter arrangements that President Akufo-Addo has been pursuing was just to herald this. They were preparing the grounds for this big announcement that a new presidential jet is needed. Let me serve notice that we on the NDC side in Parliament, we have discussed extensively amongst ourselves. We are not going to support this purchase, the purchase of a new aircraft, because of a number of reasons. One, the current presidential jet is fit for purpose. As President George Weah has told us in our faces, it's very fit for purpose. There's nothing wrong with it. Number 2, the current presidential jet, if you read the Hansard of 19th March 2008, we were told by the then Defense Minister, who is now National Security Minister, Honorable Kandapa, that our jet has a 20-year lifespan after it arrives. It arrived in October 2010. It's done barely 11 years. Next month it will be 11 years. We are nowhere near 2030, where you can start discussing a new aircraft.
Interesting. Okudzeto Ablakwa in opposition published the whole flight detail of President Akufo-Addo that poses security threats to our country. Omahine Kwabena Asante, explain that better.
This presidential jet arrived in 2010. The records in Parliament, please check the parliamentary Hansard. We were told that the presidential jet has a lifespan of a minimum 20 years. So 2010, when the aircraft arrived, plus 20 years, that gives you 200, it gives you from now to 2030, from 2010 to 2030. That's minimum 20 years. Now, we all know that with these aircraft, if your maintenance regime is good, if you take good care of the aircraft, that minimum 20 years, you can even double it. Our Ghana Air Force, the Communications Squadron, which is in charge of presidential jets, is celebrated the world over for their high maintenance culture. We all know that. If you take in Ghana's history, this is our 4th presidential jet. The Fokker 28, which a champion purchased for us in the 1970s. Our Air Force has been able to take very good care of Fokker 28 for well over 35 years. So even this minimum period of 20 years, you can see that it's very generous. It can go beyond that. Now, I am even more fortified in the position I take that the minimum period of 20 years could even exceed that, because a country like Namibia, a Falcon, theirs is a much older version. Ours was a newer version, the 900 EXE. The Namibians bought the 700 EX. And all of this information is available online. Viewers can check if I'm peddling any falsehood. So the Namibians bought theirs in 1990. They are still using it. Ours arrived 2010, and we are making excuses. Excuses that are unfounded, that are baseless. Excuses that we have asked. You say that these claims are coming from experts. We have been asking in Parliament. Tell us who those experts are. Let us see the evidence of experts telling you that don't use this aircraft for a long-range travel. Up to now, they cannot tell us. They cannot produce or adduce any evidence to that effect. Now, the Namibians, President Gengob of Namibia, is still using a Falcon 700 EX, which they bought in 1990. They are still using it. The last UN General Assembly, when I tracked, and I've been tracking this, I have the systems to track this. President Gengob of Namibia used their Falcon, which they bought in 1990. Over a 30-year Falcon. He used it to New York, to the General Assembly meeting. Only in September, a few months ago. All these meetings the president is attending. That's what the Namibian president, President Gengob, has been using. Take President Macron of France. His aircraft that he's using now also arrived in 2010, the same year our presidential jet arrived. President Macron of France is still using his presidential jet, which arrived in 2010, the same year, 12-year-old aircraft. That is what President Macron used when he visited Ghana in 2017. That is what he used when he went to Rwanda.
So you're making
a few months ago.
You're making the case that
so
the aircraft is not old enough to be retired.
Yes. So, yes. So please, it's important to really bring my point home.
Okay.
Take the United States of America, the famous Air Force One. When was it purchased? You can check. 1991. That's when the Americans purchased Air Force One. That is what current President Biden is still using. President Obama's period, they began discussions about changing it. That is now reached its lifespan. Is, after 30 years, they want to change it. But President Trump, when he came to power, said that the plans for the replacement was too expensive, too elaborate. So he suspended it and reduced the cost and the scope. President Biden has also suspended it because of the pandemic. This is the world's wealthiest country, the United States of America. They are still using Air Force One they bought in 1991. We bought our presidential jet in 2010. It arrived, and we are making all kinds of excuses. Now,
Okudzeto Ablakwa informed the people of Ghana that President Akufo-Addo was being reckless with the public purse. He was so insensitive, he did not consider the plight of Ghanaians, and the people of Ghana should see. Look at what Akufo-Addo is doing. He's bathing in the sky. He's doing this. He's doing that. Cho. Plenty talk, not a full basket. That is what Okudzeto Ablakwa was involved in. Fast forward. Okudzeto Ablakwa appeared at the ADDO FM radio show. Guys, and the host asked him, you are very particular about the travels of President Akufo-Addo. You have been saying that if President Akufo-Addo is flying private jet, it is not going to help the public purse. So what should the president do? He blah, 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 blah throughout. Then she said, if by any means possible, NDC comes to power and John Mahama or any candidate of the NDC becomes a president, what are you going, like, and the person flies private jets, what are you going to do? Listen to Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. You see? You see? You see? Now, people of Ghana are asking you to be principled. You claim you are principled. Okudzeto, you claim you are principled. So, President Mahama has just used a private jet with taxpayers' money. And people are alleging that it's over 20,000 euros per hour. What are you going to do about that? Are you not going to start publishing it? Why are people now saying that you should resign? Because you claim you are Mr. Principal. You claim you stand with the people. If you indeed are principal, then we are waiting ASAP to see your resignation letter. We are waiting to see it. Not be by word of mouth. Action. You said you are a principal person. You resigned from the appointment committee. You created an impression that Haruna Idrisu and the NDCs who were on that committee were corrupt. See your life. See your life. When President Rawlings was describing you people as babies with sharp teeth, we thought he was just talking. We thought President Jerry was angry. See your life. You spoke, said a whole lot about President Akufo-Addo. Resign. Resign. You see your life? And now, when unfortunately 8 people died through just tragic incidents, and the people of Ghana and journalists asked Okudzeto Ablakwa, would you now support the minority or the president or the call to buy a new private jet? Listen to Okudzeto Ablakwa. Meanwhile, you sat on an interview and claimed that you would never support SY administration to buy a new flight for Ghana. You did that. And see your life today. Guys, let me know what you think about this new development. This fact of fact,